Audio Jungle. Jungle. Audio Jungle. Jungle. Good morning once more, viewers. My name is Nicole Madziwa. We kindly apologize for the technical glitches that we had earlier when we started. However, I would like to believe that we are now up and running. And joining me here is this fine gentleman.
My name is Shratnam Group. It is indeed a pleasure joining you guys on this morning news headlines show right here on TechMed TV. You can catch us live on TechMed TV on our YouTube channel, and you can also catch us on our Facebook page, that is TechMed TV.
And would also like to tell you that we were off line. We're not doing the news last year because due to our program that was at ZITF, where we're live streaming the whole event. So however, it's now finished, and then we're now back in business to bring you the news every single day. So quickly, just to go through the headlines, I will start first.
You go straight.
Thank you so much. Well, according to the Daily News, it says ED's government in panic mode. Government issued a chilling warning yesterday saying it will not allow swelling public anger over dying economy to grow into anti-government protests in what betrays the uneasiness in the corridors of power. Home Affairs Minister Kane Matema claimed yesterday that authorities have caught a wind of ploy by Zimbabwe civil society, opposition parties and foreign countries to organize a crippling demonstration against the deteriorating economic conditions. The minister is quoted saying, "It is disturbing to note that the Zimbabwe Republic Police and other security services in the country have gathered information to the effect that a group of foreign nationals want to facilitate a 3-day civic organization workshop in Bulawayo in May," he told reporters yesterday. The main agenda of the workshop is to mobilize and capacitate civic organizations and individuals to stage purported effective demonstrations and disturbances to overthrow the ZANU-PF government. That is, of course, according to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Kane Matema. What are your thoughts? I've noticed that usually our government, when because people, honestly, all of this is happening due to the continuous rise of basic goods and even the cost of living itself. It's increasing day by day, and people are sort of retaliating. I would like to believe people don't like it. You know, you buy bread today at $2, tomorrow it's $3.50. You don't even know how much it's gonna be tomorrow. So the government should not take that as maybe trying to revolt. But people are not really happy with the current situation.
My first comment is the government is trying to end behind the finger. They are making a substantiated claim. They are saying their foreign nationals who want to cause instability in the country. But looking at the situation itself that is obtaining on the ground, what we are facing as ordinary Zimbabweans on a daily basis, that will obviously result in protests if that situation is not addressed. So it's not a matter of people trying to come up so that they can be able to mobilize people. No, the people are being mobilized by the situation that is obtaining. So the government coming to the press and issuing such a statement, to me, it's ill-timed, because remember, over the weekend we witnessed a new wave of price increases, and that has sent the government into panic mode, because they know that with such an effect of increases, the people are going to stage protests. Not that I'm saying people should stage protests, but I'm saying the situation will force the people, because these are bread and butter issues. Prices are rising and the people have not been given increments at work. So the inflation rate against low incomes will result in people demonstrating. So the government must focus on bringing to table economic policies that address the situation that the people are facing, not issuing these statements. People have been quiet for a long time. Since January, they've been price increases since January, but the people have been quiet. So why is the government in panic mode now? Their policies have failed. The monetary policy statement, which they thought would liberalize the exchange rate and then would, in a way, bring something or bring change, has failed. Right now, the RTGS dollar is equal to 3.5 RTGS dollar is equal to $1. It has failed when it started at 2.5. So the government must not panic. They must.
Certainly. So what do you have from the news day?
From the news day, I have Chamisa to appoint top aides. Where it says opposition MDC leader Nelson Chamisa will appoint some of the party's standing committee members, among them the organizing secretary, the spokesperson, as well as a number of deputies as per party constitution, despite members nominating their preferred candidates at the just ended provincial congresses. Chamisa has already been nominated as party leader and contested, and will be duly confirmed MDC president at the party's elective congress to be held in Gweru from May 24 to May 26. So MDC towing the line, they're just acting according to their party constitution, which was amended in 2014. I also like to bring attention to a comment made by Jacob Mafume, where he said National Organizing Secretary Amos Shibaya was nominated by the bulk of the provinces to retain his position, while the United Kingdom nominated Job Scala as his replacement. Mafume said the provision was supposed to affect even the Secretary General's position and that of Treasurer, yet the National Council not opted for elections. But according to what Mafume said, Chamisa has no obligation to follow the list of names nominated by the provinces. The National Council looked at the situation and said, notwithstanding that the Constitution provides for that, the leadership of the Standing Committee recommended that Secretary General and Treasurer General be elected as well, even though the Constitution says otherwise is safe. So the MDC trying to come up with giving Nelson Chamisa the mandate or the responsibility to come up with a winning team. Remember, they are mounting a very, very massive challenge against ZANU-PF come 2023 election, which is the next election date. So they are trying to come up with a winning team, and it is hopeful that they are going to mount a big challenge with a winning team that they are going to put in place.
Well, from that, also the Daily News also says that blank check for Chamisa is basically still saying the same thing, that Nelson Chamisa is able, and he has been given the get-go to appoint his top aides. Of course, I will not go through the details of the story because it's more or less the same story. Okay, moving on. The Daily News says MDC Bulawayo province in turmoil. MDC cadres who lost the provincial elections about a fortnight ago are pushing for the nullification of the poll results, the Daily News can report. In a letter to the party's national executive, the losing candidates alleged the just ended provincial congress was not legally constituted. They accused the presiding officers of disregarding the establishment of the existence of a quorum prior to the commencement of the process in Makokoba on 16 and 17 April. It is also claimed that not enough notice was given to allow working delegates to participate. The notice went out on April 16, ahead of the elections on April 17 and 18. And I quote what the letter said. One ought to be excused from concluding that the provincial organ manipulated and delayed the dissemination of information, creating a competitive advantage for themselves, given that they cancelled their campaign meeting of April 16, 2019, penciled for Sizinda Hall long before the posting of a notice calling for the Congress. Later continued. So basically, these MDC cadres are complaining that the whole process was not done constitutionally, it was not done democratically, if I should say so. Yeah. So
looking at this issue, this is a very serious issue. If you want to look at it from a certain point of view, I think on the run up to the 2018 election, a lot of these provincial nominations within the MDC, even in ZANU-PF, they were shrouded in controversy, and the parties failed to act accordingly, where we saw imposition of candidates and so forth. So MDC must set a precedence on this issue. I think the national executive should look at this issue seriously before they go for the May Congress, because it might affect the outcome of the Congress. Looking at the Newsday, it never rains but pours for Air Zimbabwe. They are dominating the headlines again. We have a story that reads, "Problems mount for Air Zimbabwe." It says Air Zimbabwe has confirmed that one of the two engines on its Boeing plane caught fire during a flight from OR Tambo International Airport in Johannesburg, South Africa to Harare on Sunday evening after developing a fault. In a statement, the ATCU admitted that its plane had experienced some glitch in South Africa as it was departing for Zimbabwe. Air Zimbabwe wishes to inform the public that Boeing 767-200 ER servicing flight UM462 experienced a malfunction in one of its engines, which caused a brief tailpipe fire. Part of the statement read, the carrier said the malfunction did not threaten the continuation of the flight or the safety of the crew and passengers on board, and that the aircraft landed safely in Harare at 8:35 p.m. This story has been trending, people making all comments, but I think as a national airline, Air Zimbabwe should do better. What do you think?
I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. This is that's the only, it's Air Zimbabwe. It's not,
it's ours.
Yeah, it's not those funny little names. Yeah, so I think they should improve. It seems like the situation is actually deteriorating.
Yeah, it's deteriorating
more and
day
more.
By day.
Yeah, than for the services to improve that they give people. With that being said, the second page of the Daily News also says, as MDC allocates posts to ex-G40 members. I would kindly ask for your time, because this is a mouthful. I was trying to get the good parts, but then it seems like the whole story has got the good part. Okay, so I will read. Former members of the deposed Generation 40 G40 faction have secured positions in the opposition MDC party, Harare Provincial Executive. G40 is a ZANU-PF faction that worked tirelessly to secure former President Robert Mugabe's political interest before it was vanquished in November 2017. Following Mugabe's forced resignation, G40 members were purged from ZANU-PF, with some of its prominent members, amongst them Jonathan Moyo and Patrick Shuau, going into self-imposed exile. In an interesting development, two ex-G40 members, Shadrach Mushayamombe and JP Jabun, were both appointed in Harare MDC provincial structures. So these appointments did not go well with some of the critics, who argue that it violates the party's constitution. For anyone to assume a position in the party, they must have served at grassroots level for more than 5 years. Party spokesperson Jacob Mafume says the constitutional provision does not apply because Mashaya Mombe and Jabun are coming in as alliance partners. And I quote, "They are coming in as alliance partners. Remember, they were candidates for MDC in last year's harmonized election, and if they were good enough to sit in parliament representing MDC, they are also good enough to join, to be in the structures," Mafume said. Do you think if someone is good enough, okay, like how the alliance was operating, was it operating? Of course, they had the same, they had the same general interest. Like, you know what, we need to get rid of, ZANU-PF, or that was their common interest. Of course, maybe G40 had also grievances towards ZANU-PF after being exiling themselves. I can't say they were exiled; they exiled themselves.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. So that was their common ground. Now there's concerns, because I also understand these critics saying that how can they now join, because now it's the MDC, it's no longer the alliance. So how then do they join? Because in as much as the interests are the same, but do they have loyalty? You know what I mean? Like loyal to the MDC to the point that they can actually be appointed and given a position in the MDC.
I think the whole thing now is now confusing now. I think the people needed to know what the alliance was, whether the alliance was disbanded or not. Because we saw Woshman Ngube and Tendai going back to the MDC, which they decided a few years ago. Right. What does the MDC constitution say with regards to such a situation? We were not told. The MDC did not explain it. Now, Mashaya Mombe and Jabun, they are now in the MDC. Right. They are depriving other people who've worked for the MDC since its inception. Okay, guys, let's.
Apologies for that. Moving on, what else do you have that side?
I'm going to continue with Newsday, where it is a story that says villagers stranded as miner seals boreholes. Villagers in Mtoko were left scavenging for water after a local granite company, upon closing shop, sealed off boreholes it had drilled in the area. In his report during a provincial coordinating committee held in Maronera on Sunday, ZANU-PF's Mashonaland East Political Committee and Mtoko South legislator Yebet Shumbamini said the mining company called Reds or Sidingo sealed the water sources and refused to renovate the houses of villagers that developed cracks caused by blasting despite having pledged to do so. We have a mining company that wound up its operations in Mtoko district. They had sunk boreholes in the area, but when they left, they sealed all the boreholes that were benefiting villagers. We tried to engage them to renovate villagers' houses that cracked during the time they were operating as a result of blasting, as well as repairing bridges, but it was in vain. We kindly ask authorities to assist on these matters, he said. This is a very sad development. This company, I think it should not be allowed to operate in Zimbabwe. Honestly, who does that? People need water. You drilled water for the people so that they could have water. Now that you've ceased operating, you close the water sources. That is insane. That is inhuman. I think this company should not be allowed to operate in Zimbabwe. They should have their license revoked with immediate effect. Who does that? People need water. They should just let the people enjoy water. Then the company will not lose anything. If they just let the people get the water, it will not lose anything. Yes, they've scaled down operations, they've closed maybe for different reasons, but they should not vent their anger on the people. They should let the people have the water. What do you think?
Absolutely, I agree. I mean, why? What is the point of sealing the walls in the first place?
We should revoke their license.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Moving on, the Daily News says minister fails to pay 97k ZESA bills. Shatotanga. Listen, Transport Minister Joe Bikimatiza has been dragged to the High Court by ZESA Holding subsidiary company, the Zimbabwe Electric Commission and Distribution Company, after he failed to settle a 97,000 electricity bill. The company filed an application seeking to register a deed of settlement entered between the two parties as an order of the court. According to ZETDC, the ZETDC's company secretary Judith Tsamba, in the deed settlement signed on November 2016, it was agreed that Matiza would pay the then total 112,065 for electricity supplied to him. In line with the deed of settlement, Matiza was supposed to pay 1,000 every month from 2016 to the power utilities lawyers Chihambakwe Mutizwa and Partners Trust account. In the event of failure to pay any installment due to terms of this deed settlement, the plaintiff shall give the defendant 7 days written notice to rectify the breach. So what I would say is, Honorable Minister Matiza, you should just pay up your 97k ZESA bill. Full stop. I do not have anything to say. I do not know why it's still outstanding, and it's actually a lot of money. 97k worth of electricity. It's insane.
It's insane. I wonder what he was using that electricity for, and this is the tip of the iceberg. I think we've had so many media reports of these ministers who don't want to pay their utility bills. I think the government must do something about it, because they think that they are untouchable. They are privileged to get whatever they want. So I think Minister Joe Bikimatiza and your other ministers, I know there are a lot of them who owe a lot to this, to the city of Harare, to ZESA. I think they should just do the honorable thing. Your honorable members, you should just do the honorable thing and pay your bills.
Of course. I mean, it was signed in 2016. You were supposed to have paid
you should just be honorable and then pay, rather than being dragged to court. A minister standing in court over non-payment of utility bills. It's very, very disturbing. And it also shows that the kind of leaders that we have, we need leaders who are responsible, leaders who lead from example, who lead by example, leading from the front. In the news there, I have a story that says no party regalia at Tsvangirai Memorial. The family of the late MDC founding leader Morgan Tsvangirai yesterday said they will not allow wearing of party regalia at the memorial service for the former Prime Minister in Boyera at the weekend. Although this will likely set the family and party on a collision course, Tsvangirai's younger brother Manasseh said they expect their decisions to be respected. Tsvangirai died last year following a battle with cancer of the colon and was buried in his rural home of Fumanikwa, Boyera, where the memorial will be held this Saturday. The emphasis is that we have everyone. This is not a partisan thing, and on top of that, we expect people to come, putting what reminds us of Morgan Tsvangirai. Manasseh said while addressing journalists at Tsvangirai's sort of an house in Harare. I think Tsvangirai was a national icon and is still a national icon. He managed to unite people from different political backgrounds, people from different social, economic and religious backgrounds. So I think the views or what the family want should be respected, and I hope that the MDC as a party will respect what the family wants, and indeed we have a very good memorial. What do you think?
I think it's a good initiative. Then telling people not to bring regalia, to wear their regalia.
They're really trying to accommodate everyone. Yeah, because not everyone supports MDC, not everyone supports any political party. So Morgan Tsvangirai was a man for the people. So they're saying in no party regalia so that they can be able to accommodate everyone. And just before I hand it over to you, I would just like to look at another headline that says teachers demand audience with government. The Progressive Teachers Union of Zimbabwe, PTUZ, has requested an urgent meeting with the Public Service Commission to discuss the poor remuneration of its members in relation to the rising cost of living ahead of the opening of the second school term next week. In a letter dated 29 April 2019 addressed to the chairperson of the PSC, Vincent Dungwe, PTUZ Secretary General Raymond Majongwe said the union was restless and morale was at its lowest after price increases reached alarming proportions. PTUZ is requesting for an urgent meeting to discuss the serious challenges facing teachers as schools are set to reopen next week. The latest price increases of goods and services have reached alarming proportions, Majongwe wrote in the letter, which was copied to the Primary and Secondary Education and Public Service, Labour and Social Welfare Ministries. He said the PSC should engage unions and associations to chart the way forward. This is a very critical issue. Schools are set to open on the 7th of May, and the teachers' concerns have to be addressed. That is a fact. The government must step in. The PSC must engage these teachers. They are willing to talk to the government before they take any action. So I think the PSC must do the honorable thing and then engage this Progressive Teachers Union and other unions in as far as trying to address the problem that they are facing is concerned.
And it has gone for so long that I think that it would be a good idea if just two parties just meet halfway. Even before schools closed, we are still having this when the teachers were complaining about how the government is not taking any actions towards them in light of how things are getting expensive and things like that. So on more ridiculous news, must say on ridiculous news, the Daily News says, I'm not saying the Daily News is ridiculous, let's just get that clear, but what is being said by Zimstats is ridiculous.
Very ridiculous.
It says, cost of living shoots to $873 for a family of 5. So the cost of living for an average family of 5 has shot up to $873 in March from $827 in February. The Zimbabwe National Statistics Agency has indicated. I rest my case. I will not even go any further. I mean, honestly speaking, I would like to believe in my family I'm like part of the 5, the ones that are being told that 873 is sustainable. It's ridiculous. And you have kids that go to school. How much are you going to pay $873?
Okay, I think I will have to reserve my comment. We are going to take a very quick commercial break. We'll be back with you in a few moments, where I'll just give a very good comment with regards to what Zimsted has said. So please join us shortly. Welcome back to our morning headlines show, where before we took a short break, we were talking about the cost of living shoots to 873 for family of 5. That is according to Zimsted's agents. Zimsted agents is slowly losing its credibility as a reliable source of information as far as Zimbabwe's statistics are concerned. I don't know where they're getting their statistics from, because what is obtaining on the ground is not what is in their report. 873, they are saying that from February to March, there was a 50 RTGS dollar increase to 873, of which that is very ridiculous. I think all Zimbabweans can testify to that from February to March, I think prices of goods and of basic goods and services have risen, I think 4 or 5-fold. So we can't have a $50 difference from February to March. This is ridiculous. The Zimsted has to be on point. The government organization, the government institution, they should tell the people the truth, not coming up with cooked up statistics. This is not the reflective of what is on the ground.
And what's more sad is that we are the people on the ground. So we know when you say 873 can sustain 5 people per month, we know that's not true. The level of disrespect is just so much.
It's so much, yeah, it's not true. So as the price of goods and services is also increasing, a lot of people are being affected, especially beer drinkers. And Newsday has a very interesting story that says Zimbabweans tend to vinyo to drown sorrows. Rusape, a locally brewed crude wine, vinyo has become part of life for most people in Zimbabwe following a sharp hike in beer prices. It is believed that this type of wine can send someone into a drunken stupor within minutes and can have a devastating effect on people's health, including swollen feet and loss of memory. A high number of employed Zimbabweans have resorted to this product, which is readily available in Mutare. After extracting wine for the main market, all the byproducts are then used to produce vinyo. Faced with economic problems coupled with an increase in poverty levels, many have resorted to drinking alcoholic beverages such as Super Scud and vinyo, while others prefer cheap children's coffee syrup. Newsday interviewed a number of consumers of vinyo in Manicaland who said they currently had no choice but to drown their sorrows drinking these cheap products. I quote, "We cannot afford to buy local beers and other form of beer brands," one of the consumers admire said. This is a very sorry state. People now have to resort to drinking illicit beer, which is manufactured under uncontrolled conditions, and it has devastating effects on people's health. The Newsday said people may have swollen feet and loss of memory because of these beers that are just being manufactured by people in their backyards. It's a very sorry state, and we hope that the beer prices will be decreased so that people can enjoy their beer again. Because I understand that a pint of beer is now going for between $4 and $6, whereas a Castle Lion Lager Court is now going for between $8 and $10, which is beyond the reach of many, as many people are not getting an increment at their workplaces, and many of them have to resort to these cheap beer products so that they can be able to drown their sorrows from the economic hardships that they are facing. What do you think? I want to go to Mutare so that I can bring you a bottle of vinyo.
Do not even try.
It's a byproduct of wine.
I do not try.
There's some wine taste in that.
I like my memories. I do not like swollen feet. So no. Anyway, moving on to the daily news. It says beer prices. I think we're just still on that same tip. It says beer prices suffocate showbiz. So it's business unusual in the following showbiz, in the local showbiz industry. The skyrocketing prices of beer, mainly caused by ever-changing exchange rate of the United States dollar against the local currency, have dampened the mood in the entertainment circles. The beer price have gone beyond the reach to many alcohol lovers, leaving the number of beer outlets deserted. With beer prices ranging on from 4 RTGS dollars to 6 RTGS dollars for a pint and 8 RTGS dollars for $10 for a quote, like what Stuart said earlier. So Joy Center proprietor David Mazuzu bemoaned the state of the economy, saying the operating environment is no longer sustainable, and I quote, "We are in a tight situation. The beer price is changing every 2 weeks, meaning to say our profits and investments are being eroded," Mazuzu said. So the price hikes, I think it's just basically, it just comes back to business being slow and businesses failing to attain, a very solid profit.
Yeah, there's nothing like that, because everything is increasing on a daily basis. So every part of the business sector is being affected. There's no business sector that has been spared at the moment. So yeah, we really have to adjust to these new prices. It's a very sorry state for beer drinkers. And I would just like to talk to our producers so that they can give us this picture from the news day. I'm sure they can do something. Yeah, I'm sure this is now on screen. That picture of he's a very popular MC. His name is Merciless Zimbabwe, and on the picture there's a caption that says, "A chanter eats a slice of bread while dishing out some to fans at the Harare International Conference Center on Friday as he blasted the recent price hike of the commodity." I think Daily News, Newsday, they know this guy. They should have just given him a name. He's Merciless Zimbabwe. He was purportedly protesting against the recent price hike of bread. As you understand, bread for most Zimbabweans is a staple food. It's a must-have on the table on a daily basis. So its price increase has affected many people, and the government really needs to do that. And it's very good that we've seen artists airing out their views as far as this issue is concerned, because it's affecting everyone. These are bread and butter issues. And I would like to say well done to Mr. Zimbabwe. I would like to talk to him and hear more about this act. But this is a beautiful picture. Look at how he's biting that slice of bread.
What a show off. We can afford it.
We can afford it.
Of course.
He was throwing it to the people. Okay, moving on. What do you have from the Herald?
Okay, so from the Herald, the headline here reads, "Dirty, dirty Harare water." So I like that headline.
It's very
so
catchy.
So the toxic levels in Lake Chivero have reached alarming levels, twice the stipulated minimum, with Harare City Council spending $3 million monthly on a cocktail of water treatment chemicals to remove these, but which in themselves pose cancer risks to residents. Even after treatment, Harare water falls short of World Health Organization standards, which stipulate that water for consumption should be odorless and colorless. So those funny colors that we see coming out of our taps, it's not supposed to be like that. If water is treated properly, it should be odorless and colorless. And I think even the doors, sometimes you can literally smell it as you open the tap. I think maybe the doors would be double or triple, I don't know. I'm not saying that's what it is, but then you can smell it. And that's why I think the Herald here is saying that they pose cancer risks. Because you're asking yourself, where is all that? It smells like, what do you call it, bleach? It smells like bleach. So you're asking yourself, where is this bleach I'm ingesting? Where is it all going? So it comes back to Harare having dirty, dirty water.
Harare water is dirty indeed, and some areas of Harare have gone for weeks now without running water, and it's a very worrisome state, because the city council has not been doing anything. It could have been noble if those areas affected, they would have maybe allocated maybe some water bowsers so that people can be able to get clean and safe water, or drill more boreholes. How much does it cost to drill a borehole anyway? The Harare City Council rakes in millions of dollars from rentals as part of their revenue on a monthly basis. If they know that there are areas that are affected by water, why can't they just drill boreholes to alleviate water challenges in those areas? Because I think it's very cheap to do a borehole for a company, for an organization or an institute like Harare City Council. They should just make boreholes available so that when there's no water, people have an alternative source. Because people end up getting water from sources that are not safe, that are not which word can I use? That are not safe, that are not safe, and it's posing a lot of health hazards for the people. So I think the city council really needs to have a turnaround strategy and come up with solutions to end these water shortages that have been bedeviling the city of Harare for years. This has been happening for years. It didn't start yesterday. It's been happening for years. They really need to do something. People are paying their rentals. They need to have a very good and reliable service.
More on the Herald. It says passport office to clear backlog. It's a concern when we have headlines like this. This is news in Zimbabwe that the passport office is finally doing its job. It's news. I don't know where we're going as a country.
I hope they deliver though.
Well, I hope so too. So the Register General Office has started producing 8,000 passports daily with a view to clear the 280,000 backlog that was accumulated at the Passport Office. Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage Cain Matema has said. Addressing the media yesterday, Minister Matema said passport fees remained at $53 and there is no increase, and no increases had been effected. So of course this comes after the social media was abuzz with prices that saying that the prices for passports had increased. So there you have it. Honorable Cain Matema said no, passport is still going for $53. In a quote, according to the Herald, he says, government has not increased passport fees. There are no increases on fees for passports whatsoever. Wow, he just repeated that. The situation remains the same and people must not panic. We'll do the best we can. Indeed, we are doing that.
I don't trust this minister. From experience, I don't trust this minister. Remember, Mtuli, when it was reported that Zimbabwe was going to have a new currency in 1 week, he rubbished those claims, and 1 week later we had a new currency in the form of RTGS dollar. So this minister is just playing it to the gallery. I don't think he really means what he's saying. They were saying that they were having challenges in acquiring the paper that they use for the passport. Where did they get the paper? Did they finally get the paper? How are they going to make sure that they clear the backlog? I will only believe the minister when I see that there is progress at the passport office.
And 280,000 of the passports are
have been delivered.
Yes.
As of now, I don't trust you, minister. You need to deliver. You are the Home Affairs minister. You went to the media with such a statement and you're putting your head on the block.
So that's from me and the Herald and the Daily News.
I'm going to move to the sports.
Yes.
I'm going to start with sport. Soccer, where it says Van Dijk wins PFA Player of the Year award. Liverpool centre-back Van Dijk was named as England's PFA Player of the Year for 2019 on Sunday. Van Dijk succeeded Liverpool teammate Mohamed Salah in winning the award, voted by his fellow players, and saw off competition from Manchester City striker Raheem Sterling. So Virgil van Dijk joins the class of John Terry as part of a group of defenders who have won this award, the PFA Player of the Year, which is voted by the players themselves. At the end of the season, they select a player whom they feel did a very sterling job. And I think looking at the PSL or the EPL log right now, it's heading for a very interesting finale, and it will be a very good thing for Liverpool to win this, having produced another PFA winner Mohamed Salah in 2018, I mean. So it will do them a lot of good. And I also looking at what the Newsday has on the spot. Chastening start for Zim Academy. Zimbabwe's academy debuted in the Super Sport Rugby Challenge at the Buffalo City Municipality Stadium in the first festival of the new season, brought with it the chastening realization of how much they still have to do to be done to be competitive in the tournament. Brendan Dawson's men were competitive enough in the first half of their opening game against the ill-prepared Border Bulldogs. They scored 19-16 at halftime, but they didn't score in the second half as the host put up 22 unanswered points. Still on that rugby, this is the Zimbabwe Rugby Academy. Still on the rugby tip, we understand that the Dairy Board Schools Rugby Festival is underway. It rolled into life on Sunday at Prince Edward School. I think we'll give you a much detailed report on that as of tomorrow until it finishes. Where a lot of local schools, they are converged at Prince Edward, where they are playing the rugby festival in different groups, and it's quite an exciting festival indeed, where a lot of talent is going to be unearthed. And I'm going to move to the last page of the Newsday Sport. Do you want to comment on rugby? Do you have anything to say on rugby?
I feel like you just want to make me look bad.
I will try to make you look bad. Too bitter to battle. Ndiraya doubts Dimbare's title chances. After presiding over 2 training sessions and 1 match in the Castle-Lager Premier Soccer League, newly appointed Dynamo's coach Ndiraya has cast doubts over his team competing for honours this season, given the low caliber of players in the squad's rank. I like to say that Ndiraya should be given a chance. Dynamos lost a lot of players last season, and the executive needed to bring in a lot of quality players, and I think they just have to do with what they have. They have failed to win a maximum to amass maximum points in the previous games, and it's a worrisome state. Dynamos is the most loved team in the country, and I think the problem that they are facing, they are also being faced by Islanders, which is also another old club in the country. Something really needs to be done, especially at a time when their other rival, Cape United, is shining. They really did a good job over the weekend, where they blasted 4 goals past a Blair Chiefs, a hapless Blair Chiefs side, which, according to a comment that I got from a group early this morning, someone was saying that the person who runs Blair Chiefs' Twitter page should change roles, and then he should just assume the role of coaching the team, because on Twitter they are a very, very, very big monster. They are very excellent. They come up with these controversial tweets, these exciting tweets, but on the field of play it's a different story altogether. From the sports side, according to Newsday, I think I end here.
Actually, I like Blair FC on Twitter. It reminds me of, how the Nando's and the Chicken Hut, how they throw jams at each other. It's really cool. Oh well, I think we'll move on to what's trending on social media.
Yeah, what's trending?
So our crew behind the scenes, can you please show us what's trending on social media?
And we would want to make this warning today. Those who are doing this exercise, we already know. And if one tries to fight and practice financial terrorism on Zimbabwe, we will react appropriately. And no one should cry that he has not been treated fairly. We have given. Last year, you wrote to me in November that you wanted this inter-bank. And in December last year, I met the business in Rainbow Towers together with the Minister of Finance, and we said, but why ambushing us? We thought we were going to come and then explain, but nevertheless, We were quick enough, and by February you were granted. But now it has gone upside down. Others coming to say, we will make sure this will work, will not work. No, it will work, you will not work. Simple.
On social media, we will not comment as far as that video is concerned, but you heard it for yourself. I think on that note, we're going to sign out. Or first, we have to go through the comments. Do you have any comments from social media sites?
Yes, we have one from Dairon Minyanga, says he's watching from Wheatbank. Thank you for the updates, you guys. No, thank you for watching, Dairon. He's saying that RTGS 873 for a family of 5. Come on, guys. Let's we cannot sit and watch our country being terrorized like this. No, no, no. So I absolutely agree. Thank you so much, Dairon, for commenting and watching with us. Same as Benjamin. Thank you so much. I hope that you can now hear us loud and clear, because then he was saying that there was no sound. We are sincerely apologize for that, but I hope you can hear us now. So yeah, so I think that's all we had for today. Well, with a conclusion of the VP saying that, you know, businesses are sabotaging, you know, the efforts of the government.
He's saying that the government is putting so much effort in trying to turn around the economy, but
they're financial terrorists.
Financial terrorists.
Yes, he said. Yes.
That is food for thought. On that note, my name is Stuart Number. I'm signing out. You have a pleasant viewing.
And my name is Nicole Madziwa, and for me and the crew behind the scenes, thank you so much for watching TechMake TV. So remember to subscribe on our YouTube page and follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook, so that each time when we're live, you simply get a notification and you can join us and we can engage and see what's in our local papers on that day in particular. So from me, goodbye and enjoy the rest of your day.